host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. So it is Friday, March 27th, 2020. We made it through another week. It's been a very, very crazy, trying week fighting coronavirus, and we see the increase in cases. And we see that the U.S. has now surpassed China in the number of reported cases of coronavirus. So I wanted to do an update. I talked about on Thursday, March 26th, I talked about the coronavirus stimulus bill that passed the U.S. Senate. And it passed 96-0 overwhelmingly, right? So I did a broadcast Thursday, many of you all saw that dealt with what's in the $2.2 trillion coronavirus stimulus package. Okay, and we broke it down. And we talked about the $1,200 check that 150 million American households will receive. And there were a lot of questions that I got on Facebook and Twitter, Facebook and YouTube specifically, dealing with that. Okay, so this bill is almost a 900-page bill. All right. It passed the House. It passed the U.S. Senate. The House of Representatives is expected to pass it, even though there's a hiccup with Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who is pushing for a floor vote as opposed to a voice vote. All right, but it's expected to pass the House of Representatives. All right, so I want to deal with answering a lot of questions that you all had, dealing with what if you get Social Security, what if you didn't file taxes, etc. Okay, so we're going to deal with answering your questions and how do you get the $1,200 stimulus check, and also deal with the other benefits that are in here, whether you're a small business owner, etc., whether you get Social Security, what have you. Okay, so everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms and invite your friends to tune in also. We're broadcasting on my Facebook fan page, the African History Network, my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep, also on Periscope, the AHN show on Periscope, and on my personal my personal Facebook page, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. Okay, first I'm going to give a quick update on what's going on with coronavirus and the fight against this. Okay, Washington Post has live updates, so does NBCnews.com. Okay, then also African American business owners posting name your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network as well. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Okay, current promotion: buy 1 month, get 2 months free. All right, let's look at some quick updates here. We see that this is having an impact on the stock market with Representative Thomas Massie calling for a physical floor vote as opposed to a voice vote. But we see that British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has testified positive for the novel coronavirus and is self-isolating with what he described as mild symptoms. But Boris Johnson says he will continue to lead the government's response video conference, as he said, as we fight the virus. In the United States, we saw that on Thursday, March 26th, the U.S. Became the new epicenter for this global outbreak. It was announced that it was named a global pandemic on March 11th by the World Health Organization. And the U.S. now leads the world in confirmed cases after it surpassed China's reported total. In Washington, we see that the House of Representatives is debating the bill. Is expected to pass the bill, the $2.2 trillion bill is expected to pass the House of Representatives. It's expected to pass the House of Representatives. Great service. Just a second here.
Could you repeat that?
It's MSNBC on my phone. So we see that Italy reports 919 coronavirus deaths in one day, the largest single day toll reported to any country. We see the death toll from coronavirus has passed 25,000 globally, according to the tally from John Hopkins University. And that's where that's what I used, the tally from John Hopkins University. They have probably the most accurate tally. Okay, and I'm going to give that to you here in just a second. We'll look at the tally from John Hopkins University. One thing that's important to note is that worldwide, there have been about 127,000 people, worldwide that have recovered from COVID-19, okay, from the coronavirus. SARS-CoV-2 is the actual virus, which is called coronavirus. The disease that SARS-CoV-2 causes is COVID-19, okay? So everybody share this broadcast on your social media pages. And we see that, yeah, I'm also broadcasting on my personal Facebook page, Michael Imhotep, on Facebook. Okay, so let me share this quickly here. Stand by. All right, I'm going to pull up the reporting from also. We'll look at the numbers from John Hopkins University. Let me just refresh the screen here. But a lot of times the number of people who recover from this worldwide are not discussed. Okay, so I think that's important to note as well. We see that the New York City area is the current US epicenter, but the number of confirmed cases is beginning to surge elsewhere. And we see hotspots at the Surgeon General Jerome Adams said on Friday. U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams said on Friday, quote, "We also see spots like Detroit, like Chicago, like New Orleans will have a worse week next week." Okay, we know that Michigan, a couple of days ago, Michigan was number 5 nationwide. We know that Wayne County, which is the county Detroit is in, is one of the top epicenters for this. Wayne County may be number 3, I think, right now. Okay, so as more tests become available, we see that you're going to have more people diagnosed with this. But the hospitals, a lot of hospitals here in the Metro Detroit area, Beaumont Hospitals, Henry Ford, they're basically at capacity, their ICU beds. They're basically at capacity, okay? This is why the social distancing is so important. Some governors have been more responsible with social distancing than others. You have governors of Republican states, like state of Mississippi, state of Florida, who have not ordered a stay-in, okay? The Democratic governors have been a lot more responsible. Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio. Because of lack of leadership from the federal government, the governors have been forced to take the lead on this. Now, a Washington Post ABC News poll finds that 9 in 10 Americans are staying home, quote, as much as possible, end quote, and practicing social distancing to lessen the risk of becoming infected. Now, the virus continues its inexorable creep through the world's halls of power. Shortly after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he had tested positive, British Health Secretary Matt Hancock said he too is infected. Other top officials around the world have also contracted the coronavirus, including members of U.S. Congress, party leaders in Spain and Italy, and politicians from Iran to Australia. All right, so we see, I just did a screen refresh. So we see worldwide, it's over 560,000. It's actually over 566,000 reported cases of COVID-19 around the world. We see the U.S. is at a little more than 92,000 reported cases, where China is at 81,000, a little more than 81,000 reported cases. There have been 25,000 deaths worldwide from this. But once again, it's important to note also, and oftentimes this gets left out, there have been a little more than 127,000 reported cases of people who had COVID-19 and fully recovered from it. Okay, so there've been at least there've been a little more than 127,000 reported cases of people that had COVID-19 and recovered fully from it. So a lot of times when, even when I watch MSNBC, a lot of times when I see reporting on this, the number of cases worldwide of people who have recovered from this is oftentimes left out. All right. And I know, and I wouldn't say that's necessarily on purpose. I just know there's a lot of information to cover. And the information, this is a very fluid story. So information is changing quickly. All right. In the US, there have been a little more than 1,300 deaths in the US. And there have been at least 800 cases of people who have recovered from COVID-19 in the US. Okay. All right. So I just want to give you that bit of information as well. So let's jump into this. And how's everybody doing? Everybody share this broadcast on your social media pages as well. So let's look at this. This is a follow-up to my Thursday, March 27th broadcast based upon a lot of questions people were asking me about how do they qualify, what do they do, et cetera. All right. So the $2.2 trillion spending bill that passed the U.S. Senate, what a lot of people are focusing on is the $1,200 checks for millions of Americans, basically about 150 million households. Okay. So that totals, the cost of that is $290 billion. We see that the bill also included the increase in unemployment insurance benefits, an increase in unemployment insurance benefits. That's a total cost of $260 billion. So we'll talk some about that. And then aid to large businesses with new oversight measures, that totals $504 billion. Emergency aid for small businesses, emergency aid for small businesses. So a lot of African-American business owners that I know of are focusing on this. I know some of them whose businesses are shut down, basically shut down completely because it's deemed as non-essential by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So emergency aid for small businesses, that total cost is $377 billion. Then we see business tax cuts, deferrals. That total cost is $280 billion. Hospitals, expanded healthcare spending, $180 billion. Emergency aid for state and local governments, emergency aid for state and local governments, $175 billion. Each state will receive a minimum $1.5 billion. Experts say Washington, D.C. received a disproportionately small amount of money based on its population because it was grouped for funding with U.S. territories. So U.S. territories, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, those are U.S. territories. They will receive money from this $2.2 trillion spending bill as well. The package also includes $25 billion in infrastructure grants around the country, which is huge. Okay. Once again, this bill is almost 900 pages. Okay. So as more information comes out, because I do research all throughout the day, as more information comes out about this, I will give you updates on this. Okay. Other items in the package include $45 billion for federal emergency management agencies, disaster relief fund, that's FEMA, $45 billion for FEMA, $31 billion to support local schools and colleges, $31 billion to support local schools and colleges. We saw Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida made a big deal out of Howard University getting, I think it's about $13 million, but Howard has a hospital also. Okay. And that's if you remember Matt Gaetz, that's the dumbass who was on the House floor for the, I think the $100 billion bill, wearing a gas mask, making fun of it. And then a couple of days after that, one of his constituents in his district died of COVID-19. Okay. And then he came in contact with somebody at the CPAC conference, which is a big Republican conference, right-wing conference that Republicans hold each year. He came in contact with somebody who had COVID-19 at the conference. He had to self-quarantine, okay, after making a mockery out of it. All right, so $31 billion to support local schools and colleges, $25 billion for the national transit systems, and $25 billion for $25 billion for more food stamp funding dealing with SNAP. Okay, so we'll post a link to this article here. I talked about this in my Thursday, March 26, 2020 broadcast. what's in the $2.2 trillion coronavirus Senate stimulus package? What's in the $2.2 trillion coronavirus stimulus package? This is from Washington Post. There's also NBCnews.com has a good article dealing with the same topic at NBCnews.com as well. All right. Okay, so let's look at dealing with answering a lot of questions that I received from people dealing with this. Okay, and how's everybody doing on YouTube also? Broadcasting on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. All right. So individuals making up to $75,000 a year will receive $1,200, okay, with an additional $500 per child. The payments progressively decrease for individuals making more than $75,000 with an income cap of $99,000. Now, Americans should start getting their checks within 3 weeks, said Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Okay, he said this on Thursday, March 26th. Now, by comparison, the IRS took 3 months to distribute checks in 2009 to battle the Great Recession when they had the stimulus checks then. Okay, now some experts say that due to budget cuts and obsolete technology, the IRS will need months, not weeks, to send out payments. All right, now Howard Gleckman, a senior analyst at the Urban Institute's Tax Policy Center, told Reuters.com, quote, "I don't think any of the policymakers have given any thought to the practical implications of actually doing this. The IRS does not have the resources to do it." Okay. Now, those people who were planning on receiving a paper check have moved since filing their those people who were planning on receiving a paper check and have moved since filing their last tax return should submit a change of address form, which normally takes 4 to 6 weeks to process. You do that at irs.gov. Okay, irs.gov. I'm on irs.gov's website right now. They have a special section dealing with coronavirus, and they have to update it because there's not a lot of information there right now, because I'm on their website right now, irs.gov. Taxpayers can get their checks a little faster if they sign up for direct deposit with the IRS. In order to register for direct deposit, people should indicate direct deposit as the refund method on their tax form. Okay, to change a bank account or routing number for the deposit, call the IRS customer service line at 1-800-829-1040, 1-800-829-1040. Now, the IRS has set up a special coronavirus landing page on its website, which it will update as more information becomes available. Currently, the website says stimulus payment checks, no information available yet, no sign up needed. Instead of calling, please check back for updates. Now, per the keep in mind, this is an almost 900-page bill. So more details are coming out on this. Per the bill, quote, "The vast majority of Americans, no action on their part will be required in order to receive a rebate check. This includes many low-income individuals who file a tax return in order to take advantage of the refundable earned income tax credit and child tax credit." Okay. Now, for those who have already filed for 2018 and 2019 taxes and whose information is up to date and accurate, there's no need to do anything at all. Okay. Basically, as we know right now. So if you file for 2018, 2019, you set up the way you wanted to get the payment, direct deposit or by mail. You haven't moved. Everything is accurate. Direct deposit, they have your routing number. You haven't changed banks, anything like that. You don't have to do anything. Okay. I encourage people to go to irs.gov. Keep in mind, the deadline to file taxes has changed to July 15th, 2020. All right. But if you want to get the check quickly, be one of the first ones to get the check, you want to make sure the IRS has the accurate information. So let's go through and answer some of your questions. And once again, the website is irs.gov, irs.gov. I'm going to pull it up here. Well, I'm not going to do a screen share. We'll see. I don't want the computer to freeze up on me here. But when you go to irs.gov, I'll post a link right here for you. on the homepage, they have one portion that says coronavirus tax relief, and right next to that, it says stimulus. It says stimulus checks. Okay. They have some information there. It's not a whole lot right now. Okay. A lot of times you're going to see that the federal government is making promises and they haven't really thought all this stuff through yet. Okay. I'm just telling you, just be prepared for that. Okay. They haven't really thought all the nuts and bolts out. Let's see here. Let's see if we can pull this up here quickly for you. All right. Well, I'll just post a link here. All right. So let's look at getting to answering your question. So a lot of people ask, how much will I get? If you made less than $75,000 in 2019, you would be eligible for the full payment of $1,200. Now, it's going to be a one-time payment of $1,200. Early on, Democrats were pushing for, at one point, four payments of $1,200 each, maximum. Okay. This bill that passed the U.S. Senate by a vote of 96-0 is much better than the original bill that the Republicans in Moscow, Mitch McConnell, were pushing for. It's much better than that, but is going to be is going to be a one-time payment right now of $1,200. Okay. Now, Nancy Pelosi has said that there will probably be there's a good possibility there will be another stimulus bill. This is phase 3 of the coronavirus bills. This is the third bill. First bill was for 8.3 billion. Second bill for 100 billion. This is the third bill. All right. So if you made less than $75,000 in 2019, you will be eligible for the full payment of $1,200. Now, couples who filed jointly and made less than $150,000 will get $2,400. Okay, couples who filed jointly and made less than $150,000 will get $2,400. An individual who filed as head of household, and earned $100,000, $100,000 or less gets $1,200. Okay, a head of household who earned $112,500, I should say $112,500 or less gets $1,200. Okay, so a head of household who has earned $112,500 or less gets $1,200. Now, for every child in the household, you will receive an additional $500. For every child in the household, you will receive an additional $500. If you make more than $75,000, because a lot of people ask this question, if you make more than $75,000 a year, your payment will be reduced by $5 for every $100 of income that exceeds the limits. Okay, if you made $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. If you made more than $75,000 a year, as reported on your taxes, your payment will be reduced by $5 for every $100 of income that exceeds the limits. So if you made, for instance, $80,000 in 2019, as reported on your taxes, you will receive $950 instead of $1,200. The payment decreases to $0 for an individual making $99,000 or more, or a couple making $198,000 or more. All right. If you are a family of 4, for example, you'll be eligible for a maximum of $3,400. This is a one-time payment. If you are a family of 4, you'll be eligible for a maximum $3,400. So a lot of people are asking, when is the money coming? Okay, so like I said, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said on Wednesday and on Thursday that he said the checks will be sent out within 3 weeks to people whom the IRS has information. He said you don't need to sign up or fill out a form to receive a payment if you've been working and paying taxes since 2018. Okay. And as I said, you want to update your information if you've moved. If you've moved since 2018, 2019, when you filed, you have a different address on file now. Oh, you have a different address now. If you change bank accounts and you want direct deposit, you want to update that information. At irs.gov, they should have the information there so you can update. Okay. How's everybody doing on YouTube? We got Alex, Max, just a few people watching us on our YouTube channel. You can watch us on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. All right. Then African American business owners also post the name of your business here in the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with us. Also, if you like this type of information and you want to support the African History Network, you can donate $the AHN show through Cash App, $the AHN show through Cash App, or PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air broadcast, finance our Sunday night show, etc. All right. And then at our website, africanhistorynetwork.com, click on the yellow donate button. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, so will there be multiple payments? This is a question I got yesterday a lot. No, this is going to be a one-time payment, as I stated. The legislation only authorizes a one-time payment, but House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi suggested on CNN on either Thursday or I think Thursday it was, that Congress could revisit this issue. She said, quote, "We think we'll get more direct payments in another bill," end quote. So it's expected that there will be another bill after this one. Senator, one of the Democratic senators said today that this bill will basically get us through like the next 3 to 6 months, so to speak, but there will probably have to be another bill after that. Something like the next 3 to 6 months, etc. Okay, where do I sign up? A lot of people asked. Do I have to do anything? You don't have to sign up. There's no sign up. The payments will be automatic for people who have filed a tax return or have received Social Security benefits recently. The IRS, okay, not to call with questions. How do I get the money? How do I get the check? Show me the money, etc. But to keep checking their website, irs.gov, where they will post updates about the program once they are available. And we posted the link here directly. It's irs.gov, and it's /coronavirus, irs.gov/coronavirus. I'm on the website right now, and it says stimulus payment checks, no information available yet, no sign up needed. Tax deadline has been extended July 15th, 2020. They just give some general information here. They have information